A lot of questions, right, about our standards, about what we're willing to tolerate. Fox News senior analyst, political analyst Brit Hume joins me now. You know, Brit, you look at all of this, and that severed head yesterday, I think sort of pushed a lot of people over the line. And it raises a lot of questions about what's acceptable, what's funny, what is okay in our humor in this world today.
Well, I think, Martha, that there has been a decline in the civility of our discourse in this country. This has been happening over time. Yeah. And we may now have reached a kind of a zenith of this, of which that Kathy Griffin episode is an example. And I think it owes something to the fact that the nation, I'm just talking about a political point of view here, is so deeply divided. Mm-hmm. It's not just that the two sides, the left and the right, don't agree. It's that they so vehemently disagree. As I've never seen it in my, 50 years of being a reporter, I've never seen anything like this. And now, of course, more fuel has been added by the attitude of so many people toward President Trump. It's not just that people oppose him, disagree with him, worry about his qualifications. People who oppose him, a lot of them can't stand the sight of the man. It horrifies them that he's president. And it's leaked over into the coverage to the point where we see, you know, everyday reporters who are supposed to not get into the opinion business, letting opinions leak into their work. We see biased reporting to a degree that I've rarely seen before, although I've kept an eye on it for a long time. So I think we're at a point here where we've got almost a civility crisis on our hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think something everybody needs to think about, and I think you nailed it when you talked about this, you know, sort of very sort of gut level hatred that exists out there, and it sort of, you know, so there's a feeling that it's justified to do these kind of things because doesn't everybody agree with that notion? And everybody doesn't agree with that notion, and a lot of people find it very, very offensive. Before I run out of time, I want to get your thoughts on this because today we all sort of we were all watching on our TVs this Hillary Clinton appearance, and found it, you know, interesting on a lot of levels. I want to play a little bit of it for you and see what you thought about it, Brit. Here it is.
I take responsibility for every decision I made, but that's not why I lost. So I think it's important that we learn the real lessons from this last campaign, because the forces that we are up against are not just interested in influencing our elections and our politics. They're going after our economy, and they're going after our unity as a nation.
What do you think?
Well, she's had a hard time coming to terms with this loss, and it was a shocking loss. I mean, Donald Trump himself goes around saying that it's an election she should have won. I don't think he knew that he was going to win until it suddenly happened on election night. And I think for her, who spent a lifetime trying to reach this moment, she was going to be the first female president of the United States. Her level of disappointment is to some extent, I think, understandable. But now she's talking in terms that make you wonder about her. She outlined in that interview this vast conspiracy theory, not the first time she's spoken of vast conspiracy theories, as we all remember, yeah. But it doesn't really add up, and she says, you know, she takes responsibility for the decision she made. You know, does she take responsibility for the fact that at the beginning of that campaign, in the middle of that campaign, at the end of that campaign, there was still a good question, which was, what was her campaign about? Donald Trump was campaigning on Make America Great Again. Now, you can argue that he didn't have the right ideas to do it or that it's a simple-minded slogan, but it had real appeal to a lot of voters. Her campaign slogan was Stronger Together, yeah. Whatever that means.
Well, I mean, she's clearly pinning the whole thing on the Russia issue, except for the misogyny part, which she also talked about today, that she said also played a role.
Oh, she talked about Facebook.
But
you know, she was complaining about Facebook.
And the Russian infiltration of Facebook, which, you know, may have happened to some extent, but to say that to say that she bears no responsibility may leave her party in tough shape going forward. But I got to go. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to see you, sir.